Welcome back, everybody. What's going on, Hex Tribe? The beautiful people of Hexaco. How's it going? I'm here. I'm going to do a live stream for really as long as I can today. It's going to be a bit different. I'm going to answer all your questions. So I hope you guys have some questions because I don't really have a whole lot to talk about from my own perspective. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear from what does the actual community want to know more about. You know, I've been making evergreen content. I've been kind of going back to the basics with Hex because that's what we do in a bear market, right? It's much easier to onboard in a bear market because like all these people getting in now, there's really not much lower to go, in my humble opinion. Okay, we might tap a penny, maybe a bit lower at the absolute worst, but Hex has been very resilient. It's been almost like a damn stable coin for the past 4 or 5 months, 6 months, maybe. I mean, I've never seen it. Hex, I feel like Hex has bottomed earlier than the rest of the crypto market. And now we're just waiting for the bloodbath to catch up, the fallout of all the centralized companies, along with just everything else. Everyone's going to come join us at the 90% dip. Everyone's going to come join the 90% dip party. But we've been here for a while. So I want to say what's up to the chat really quick. Hex MD, how you doing? Antonio says saludos. Win bear market over 6 months, 1 year. What's my bet on it? Antonio, if you want me to give you a number, look, I am going to just make this up. Obviously, you guys know. You guys know the deal. I don't have a crystal ball, and anyone telling you they know is full of shit. But we can speculate all we want. And so I'm going to go with either March or April of 2023. Like the beginning of Q2 in 2023, I think that's when we're going to get the first signs of the Fed pivoting. And that's really going to hit the crypto market hardest, in my opinion, because crypto reacts faster than everything. I mean, it's also like leverage. It's more volatile. The news comes quicker. The people react quicker because, it's all digital. It's all electronic. Stocks are a little bit slower. And for news and information to hit the market, it basically, it goes crypto first, then stocks follow, and then the heavier objects like real estate are last. So, it goes crypto, stocks, real estate, and that's going to be how things are falling. And real estate hasn't even dropped yet. So we might even see a short-term pump in crypto, a fake out bull trap, so to speak, because I think that crypto is going to pump on the news of the Fed pivoting, whereas real estate might only just be beginning to have its crash. So it might be an interesting situation in the beginning of Q2, March or April of 2023. That's just a guess. I have no idea. Neither does anybody else, right? Crypto Kings, bear market blues. Yeah, man, you got to keep your head up. Dude. It's really boring. So I get it. But these are the times where the generational wealth is actually made. It's the times when nobody else wants to be here. You guys are still here. So you actually have a shot at doing this next bull run the right way all over again. I mean, it's really just it's a game of attrition, right? It's last man standing. And so many people get wrecked, or, imagine they had all their money on FTX and they just blew their account up. Now they have $0 left. That happened to a lot of people, and those people are going to go away. At least we're all in a product that's stable, working, 100% uptime, true DeFi, can't be shut off. That's why we're so safe, in something like Hex or other DeFi products. But obviously, you all know Hex is my favorite. I got my bets on Hex for the next bull market, that's for sure. Going to be one of the top, probably in the top 10 performers, I would say, conservatively. Hex, nobody knows how high it can go. And PulseChain, yeah, there's a pretty good chance PulseChain could outperform Hex to a degree. But these are going to be the two. I even think, call me crazy, but I think PulseChain is probably going to kick off the next bull market because we're the only people still left. We're the only people still on Twitter that aren't just trying to fish for engagement bait. The only other people you see left on Twitter right now are just either haters because they want some engagement bait, and some of you guys fall for it, or it's people talking about FTX and trying to get a little clout by basically just covering the news. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, cool, guys. I mean, people want the drama, right? People want the spicy day-to-day drama. But we're over here in our little corner. We're talking about the actual reason crypto was invented. Not your keys, not your coins. We're talking about the ability to achieve financial freedom and the allure of cryptocurrency. Not only digital financial revolution, but you can get really, really rich if you do it right. If you do it right and you have a longer term time horizon, we're talking multiple years, okay? 2 years minimum. Like, it doesn't happen overnight. It's not what people want to hear, but I think a lot of you guys in the chat, I think you get it. Doug, what's going on? Heyo. Mr. Cupazzo says, your info and hopium are top notch. Thank you for all you do. My pleasure, sir. I will be your hopium dealer any day, brother. Coffee, what's going on? Spike. SJ, how are you? I love when you appear in the chat there. Crypto Gains Club, how you doing? Ted Nelson says, snowy day, and it hasn't snowed here yet. I'm just waiting for it, but I'm surprised it hasn't snowed here where I live. I live in a cold place. Usually it would have snowed by now. So we've got an oddly warm winter. And when I say warm, I'm talking like 30 to 40 degrees, right? That's a warm winter for us. Yeah, great time to go back to the basics. That's right. You know, if you guys want to make some evergreen content, that's the kind of stuff that people are going to go back and watch. That's the kind of stuff that when Hex shoots back up to 10 pennies, 10 cents, people are going to be dying to learn how to buy Hex. Oh, hey, thank you for the super chat. PNW Sasquatch. Much love, CC. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. That's really nice of you. Let's go on through the chat here. Oh, well, there's a lot of you guys. My gosh. Hex at 26 cents buying again. Yeah, people are going to be aping back into Hex at 25 cents, you know, and you guys are the ones still here. You guys are the ones that, imagine if you buy Hex at 3 cents, you know, you have almost a 10x advantage on the people that need to wait till 30 cents until they're confident enough to get back in, right? Coffee the goat. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Hex Addict. I guess I'm a bit of a Hex Addict too. Sup, DGen? Sup, Coffee? What's up, Bam Bam Bitcoin? Hey, y'all. What's up, Hex Huddle? Crypto Khalil says, what do you think happens when the Hex influencer subpoena? If Gary Gensler gets kicked from the SEC, BitBoy says no one who works there agrees with what he's doing. I mean, look, I don't know how BitBoy gets his insider info, but Gary's not very popular right now at the SEC. He is under the chopping block. I really believe that. I think he's done, guys. I think he's done, and I think he should be done because, I mean, when you think about how badly he messed things up, I mean, he fucked up bad. Okay, really, really bad. It doesn't look good for our good old friend Gary right now. Basically, he gave FTX a pass. He turned a blind eye towards all the blatant scamming that FTX was doing, the blatant fraud. And he's the leader of the group that's supposed to be protecting investors, barking up the wrong tree as always. You know, this Hex influencer subpoena it's really a nothing burger, guys. It's a nothing burger, but it unfortunately has a chilling effect on certain people. The more I learn about it, you know, I was obviously, when I first heard about it, it was unsettling for me. I don't want this. I don't want to have to deal with the SEC. But if it comes to that, you know, they're going to need a court order from me in order to actually get anything. And what they're asking for appears to be financial money between influencers and Richard Hart. And I know for a fact that Richard doesn't pay influencers. I mean, speaking from my personal experience, that's a guarantee. Speaking from other people, from what I've heard, I mean, Richard's a cheap man, guys. I mean, he's a great guy, but I'm sure as hell that he has not paid any influencers. And I know a lot of you would agree. So, you know, it's annoying. It's a really big roadblock and a speed bump, right? But they're trying to scare you. And, you know, if you let them scare you out of talking and using your freedom of speech, then you let them win, right? And all we are, guys. All we are in Hex is just a fanatic group of individuals with common ideals. We're like fans on a sports team, right? We're like Chicago Bears fans, except we are fans of Hex cryptocurrency. Now, I know it does seem weird. It does seem weird from the outside looking in. Why are all these people so crazy about this one crypto? And it's, well, because it made a lot of us financially free, and we think it can do that for so many other people. But I understand if you've done very surface level research, you know, it might seem like people are getting paid. Guys, Hex is not a company. Hex is a decentralized, autonomous organization. It's a movement. It's a grassroots organic movement. I say that all the time. And that's confusing for people. You know, they're looking for hex.com, the company, they've incorporated, right? Which is, it's not real. It's just, they're looking for something that doesn't exist. And so it ends up being an epic waste of time. And unfortunately, it could scare people from even exercising their freedom of speech. But it's not stopping me because I know for a fact that I'm not doing anything wrong. And, you know, they're going to have to kill me if they want me to stop. Mike R says, thoughts on future of Icosa and Hedron. They seem to have hit a wall. Yeah, I don't, you know, all the excitement for Hedron and Icosa was, I think, based upon that big liquidation day that I talked about on a previous video. Now, they're not going anywhere. I mean, it's solid code. It's going to be around for a while. I like Hedron. I like Icosa a lot. I think what a lot of people tried doing was buying up all these auctioned hex stakes, these HSIs that went for sale, and either maybe they overpaid for them or they were trying to recycle the hex stakes and just, buy the HSI and then sell it right back for Icosa. Well, it appears to me that so many people have done that it's a highly not profitable strategy anymore. And so I don't recommend anyone really do that right now. You're not going to you're just going to lose money. You're going to lose your Hedron and you're going to end up with more Icosa. A lot of people apparently dumped Icosa as well, thinking that they were going to get a profit off of that kind of recycling strategy. But I wouldn't recommend buying any HSIs on auction unless you actually intend to be holding them. And there's so many of these little tiny, 2,000 hex stakes for 15 years that all these little tiny stakes, it's just nobody really cares about them because it's like, oh, great, you have a $50 hex stake for 15 years from now. It's like, I can just do that myself, and like the amount of Icosa you can get for selling it back is negligible. And there's so many of these little tiny stakes that are just, I think, wasting time. It's going to be growing pains. It's growing pains because I think a lot of people were looking at how do I play this Icosa Hedron thing as a short-term flip? And obviously those people, as usual in crypto, short-term thinkers get annihilated. But this is growing pains, right? So when Icosa and Hedron, they're not going anywhere. They're going to be here for a long time. And there's a huge discount on Icosa right now because when Icosa does go back up to parity, which right now it should be worth about 33 hex, it's far under that. I think there might be a 20 to 30% discount on Icosa right now. Things are going to stabilize again. Things are going to stabilize, and it's going to become a working, thriving ecosystem, I think. I actually believe that. But, it's got to have some growing pains. And so a lot of people get bored, right? A lot of people just get bored in the bear market. And so I think a lot of people rushed in to try to, buy HSIs and dump sell them for Icosa and dump the Icosa. And that's not the right move. It's just stake and chill. Same thing with Hex. The right way to play Icosa and Hedron, in my opinion, is the same way I play Hex. Just stake it and forget about it, or tell other people about it, right? Tell other people about it. Onboarding and adoption is a way better use of your time than I think people are spending all these time playing these, like I call them like mini games. They're playing all these mini games and siphoning off their attention onto the coin of the week, the coin of the month, because they're all so bored. And I get it, it's boring, right? But the real thing with the most net positive effects is always going to be onboarding new people into crypto. That's how you grow the pie. I mean, making new coins doesn't matter if you're not targeting new people or extending the functionality of things that are already good. I Heart Hex asks, how much Hex do I need for life-changing wealth in the next 5 years? I don't answer those kinds of questions, mister. That's financial advice, and only you can answer that for yourself. So, you think for yourself, what if Hex hits $1 one day? How many dollars would I like for life-changing wealth? Do I regret selling my PLSD? No, I do not. I do not regret it at all. But look, I hope that team does a good job marketing. I mean, they're going to need to do some more getting the word out there. And right now, it just seems to be a lot of hexagons playing around in that little meme coin trifecta. Hector says, Crypto Coffee, when you restake your one hex's principal into 11. Okay, hold on. Let me read this slowly. When you restake year one hex's principal into year 11 in a stake ladder, does the principal hex that is restaked have to be rebought at the new price? No, not at all. Not at all, Hector. Your stake is over, you mint back the principal plus the yield. So you don't need to buy any hex again. Like if you had a 1 year stake, and that's, let's say you had 100,000 hex stakes for a year. And at the end of the year, you now have 111,000 hex. You could take that 11,000 hex, sell it if you want, do whatever you want, and then just restake the 100,000 hex. That 100,000 principal never goes away. I mean, that does not have to be rebought. That's your principal. You get it back. I'm not understanding this question. Or would it still be the initial investment price? look, the price in USD of HEX changes all day long. So whatever you bought HEX at and back in the day when you made your stake versus whatever it's at now, that's going to be your gain or your loss. It's okay. I mean, I understand you're new, but yeah, I mean, check out some of my earlier videos if you're that new. No, you don't have to do any rebuying if you want to restake the principal and sell the interest. You still get the principal back. So I hope that makes sense. Get some coffee. Yeah, what's up? Hey, coffee, nice to see you, man. I wanted your take on 1 penny HEX. Is that possible? Yeah, it's controversial. Of course it's possible. I'm not going to say it's not possible. I think if it did go there, there's a lot of limit orders set there. It would not stay at 1 penny for very long. There's also the case that so many people want 1 penny, and like when everybody wants one thing, they usually don't get it. So we just saw a pretty big liquidity provider shift his liquidity from the 3-cent range all the way up to the 10-cent range. That might be indicating that he's actually expecting the prices to go up. I don't know, but it also makes it easier for us to wick down, because if we have very thin liquidity between 3 cents and 1 penny, it means big wicks are possible. Basically, part of the low liquidity at these lower prices is intentional to shake out people that were going to sell anyway, and to shake them out at a worse price, or at least potentially even stop them from shaking themselves out, because they would be eating so much slippage. If some big whale tried to sell now, there's really not an efficient way for them to do that right now. And so I really don't see a lot of whales selling these days. There was that one guy, that 300 million HEX guy. He seems to have stopped selling, at least for the past 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks. Time will tell. Everything is unpredictable. 1 penny HEX, definitely possible. I'd give it maybe a 60-40 chance. I think it's more likely that it doesn't happen. I think it's more likely that we don't see 1 penny HEX, but I'm only about 60-40 confident on that one, Synthwave Symphony, what's up, sir? Willie says, Moon Gang, baby. Yeah, what's up? Amatai Keller says, people don't understand that we might see the longest bear market of closer to 2 years. TradFi giants want to suppress crypto for as long as they can. You got to be ready for the worst. Okay, this is definitely the worst case scenario. We could have a 2-year bear market, right? And we could be looking at a bear market through all of 2023 as well. But that means different things for different asset classes. So this kind of goes back to my point earlier, where different asset classes are going to fluctuate at different times. Crypto reacted very, very fast. Crypto topped in November of 2021. People in crypto were talking about a bear market and a recession, way before the mainstream media was talking about a bear market, and stocks have been hit, but they haven't been hit nearly as hard as crypto. They've probably got a little bit of more downside left to go. And then real estate and hard assets, they haven't seen much of a dip at all yet. And a lot of people are intending to, because there's a lot of metrics of people, the lowest numbers of new home purchases in quite some time. CPIs, it's still high. But then unemployment is also going up currently too. And going by the older definition of a recession, we've been in a recession, guys. A recession is 2 quarters of negative GDP growth consecutively. We've had that for a while, but of course, Jerome Powell and the mainstream media, they don't want to admit that we're in a recession, because they don't want to scare people. But when they do admit there is a recession, that almost means like we're pretty much near the bottom, right? And so I think we might see this decoupling for a minute because crypto reacts so fast to things. How do I put this? Because crypto reacts so fast that we could see at the first sign of the Fed printing more money again, we could see crypto shoot up while everything else is still in shambles. Does that make sense? And I also know that, some people are talking about FTX being a huge setback for crypto. I don't necessarily think it's going to be as big as, it's going to set crypto back in terms of what the normies think. They need to understand. We need to educate them. Really, it's our job to educate them that FTX is not actual crypto, right? FTX was just an exchange, a leverage exchange that was run by a fraudster. But people forget things very quickly. I'm in tune with human psychology and how quickly people forget and how quickly people move on to the next news story of the day. So people have very, very short attention spans. If it bleeds, it leads. And people are always looking to the mainstream media for the next thing to be scared about. It's really a terrible way to spend your attention, but that's how people are. And so I think you can already tell a lot of, even on Twitter, a lot of the FTX hysteria has died down. I mean, it's still it's still one of the most talked about things in crypto, but compared to when it was all happening, I remember I had my popcorn. I was watching it like a live feed. I was watching it like it was a documentary in front of my face. And now things have seemed to have calmed down a little bit. Sam Bankman-Fried hopefully goes to jail. Fingers crossed. But yeah, traditional financial giants, they probably do want to suppress the crypto bull, but they're also looking into buying up all the crypto companies. Goldman Sachs is looking into buying FTX right now. So it's happening right now. And I think it happens faster than people might think. So it is realistic to see a little bit of a pump in the next 3 to 4 months in crypto. I'm not saying the whole economy as a whole is going to pick back up again. I mean, we could have a recession all through 2023, but there is this decoupling aspect of, crypto tops earlier than the rest of the markets, and it also probably bottoms earlier than the rest of the markets. We'll see if that hypothesis is true. I might be proven wrong, and we'll see, but it just makes sense to me with how quickly the crypto industry gets information and processes information. Yeah, ICOSA yield's still pumping. Yeah, ICOSA is still great. On liquidation day, or when the poly contract thing happened, I think I got a ton of yield that day on my ICOSA stake. So I like ICOSA. I like Hedron. I'm staking them. I was just saying the reason for the dip is probably just a lot of people, short-term people, trying to recycle HSIs. You know what I mean? Great to see you live. Love from Copenhagen. Thank you, Mego Art. Richard arguing with everyone instead of making friends. Yeah, well, I mean, that's an interesting topic. We could talk about Richard's behavior all day long, but he also has been pretty radio silent lately. He's probably working on PulseChain pretty hard, if I had to guess. So, it's not Richard's job to make sure HEX is successful either. It's the whole community. Like, we all have a part to play. Yeah, I do think Richard, he'll probably change up his tactics after the bear market is over. He's just focused on getting more attention around him, good or bad, because controversy really does sell. Controversy really does work. It's been proven to work. It's like a playbook from some of the most famous people in the world right now. So, yeah, I mean, he does like to argue, but he also wants to have conversations. I think he even said that to Charles Hoskinson. Like, he said it doesn't have to be a debate. I can see Richard changing his tune depending on who he talks to. To me personally, it seems like he likes to argue with people that have been assholes to him personally in the past. But there's also just the controversy sells, that whole thing. Hey, do you still play that beautiful guitar there in the background? Once in a while, not as much as I should, but it's a good hobby to pick up, if you're bored in a bear market, might as well learn something new, right? Is a HEX complete staking ladder be made before any other crypto adventures? That's what I've got going on. I don't quite understand your question, Doug, but yeah, I would start with a complete staking ladder before other stuff. That's me personally. That's what I would do. Not financial advice. Yeah, they still haven't officially said we're in a recession yet, and it's coming. Another thing that's a reason for them to prolong the bear market is the Galaza readiness of the CBDCs. Yep, that's also cooking up in the background. CBDCs are coming either way. They're not ideal. They're not going to be open and permissionless. They're going to be very highly permissioned, and it's a big risk. If you're going to be in CBDCs, just know that it's basically no better than a bank account. It might be a bit more efficient than a bank account, but it's still going to be heavily regulated. You're still going to have capital controls on where you can spend your money. CBDCs are also not going to be real crypto, right? And so they're a necessary evil because we do need a way to bridge from dollars into the cryptos that we like. But, we need to keep focusing on building the parallel financial system, which is HEX. That's the parallel alternative where we can all, and one day when everybody's got a wallet, we'll be able to pick and choose among our communities what we want to transact in. And this is a world that might be 5 to 10 years away, but there will be a choice, and it starts with you and the people that you educate around yourself. There's going to be the normie half of your life, and then there's going to be the crypto, on the bleeding edge of everything. And you can have your CBDCs, you can keep your social credit score, try to look normal in the eyes of the government, but you can also do your own thing and be truly free, because that's what cryptocurrency offers. You can have one foot in both worlds, so to speak. Marco says, much love, bro. Jason Smith, in the end, it doesn't even matter. Yeah, Lincoln Park. Nice. When does the pain end? The pain, man. The pain ends. I hope it ends soon. Here's a conspiracy theory for you. I really hope that Richard is waiting to launch PulseChain Testnet v3 right on Christmas, because that'll give HEX a nice healthy pump. That'll reinvigorate everybody's confidence. Be like, okay, he's actually working on stuff. Like, all the FUD can shut up now. I hope that happens. Richard, if you're watching, if v3 is ready, bro, please give us a Christmas present. Boo Bears, go Packers, go. We got a cheesehead in the house. Oh, we got a cheesehead. That's okay. Luckily for you, I don't really care about football. But yeah, the Chicago Packers rivalry is pretty real. Archie, what's up? Good to catch you live. Yeah, just like Chicago Bears fans, except our team doesn't suck. Yeah. First they laugh at you, then they fight you, then HEX wins. That's where we're at, bro. That is where we are at. Bear haters, I'm a diehard. Yep. Let's see what else is going on. I am a little far behind, aren't I? Small auctions go for more than large auctions per HEX. Yeah, it's weird. It's like, I think because people feel that they're confident that they can actually buy it, they just want to buy it. I don't think people are always realizing how much money they're spending on something that they could just, because you have to factor in. So it's hard to price the future price of an HSI stake, right? If you're buying a 15-year stake at 90 days old, there's only 90, like that's like what, less than 1% of the stake completed. How do you judge what's a good price for that? Well, you could take the current amount of HEX in US dollar terms and say it's that plus the mintable hedron. So add the mintable hedron plus the HEX together, but you should also maybe plug in the stake in hexcalc.net. Say let's say HEX was the same exact price in 15 years. Obviously it won't be, but it's got this much, future HEX in terms of yield that it could potentially mint, and it's got this much potential future mintable hedron. If you want to do all those calculations, yourself on a calculator, then you could add those together and say, okay, well, what's the US dollar value, anticipating the future value of HEX. I mean, maybe Crispy, maybe that could be added into the hexfire.io. I don't know, but it would be a good way for people to know if they're actually getting a decent deal. And the thing is too, it's like, I feel like a lot of people didn't understand the auctions and they just wanted to buy the HSIs as a mechanism for getting new ICOSA, which might have been a good idea for like the first couple of purchases, but not anymore. Ty says, Chicago sports have the best fans. Yeah, well, it's cold here. We don't have anything else to do. Thanks, Crypto Coffee. Yeah, thank you, Hector. Hopefully I answered that question of yours. You don't have to rebuy, but you do have that new price. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much what I was trying to say. What up, Hex Familia? Hello, Sandy. Bottom feeder says, long term, is it PHEX or EHEX the better play? Well, in my utopia vision of the future, like they'd both be the same price, right? And I would like to see price parity. So I'd like to see that, but I think PHEX is more likely if the world had to pick one version of HEX, which you don't, because you can tie them together via liquidity, and I hope that happens. But I think PHEX would be the better play, just because it's going to be in the ecosystem that's HEX friendly. The cheaper, faster, fee burning, world's largest airdrop. Like, it's going to be on PulseChain. I mean, the Ethereum native HEX is always going to be very, very expensive to unstake. It already is. But your 15-year stakes on EHEX are going to be outrageous. And PHEX might not always be cheap either. PHEX might buy us another 5 or 10 years of cheap fees, but one day PulseChain might be a victim of its own success as well. I'm going to hold both my PHEX and my EHEX, right? I'm going to hold them because I'm going to hope that liquidity makes it so that we can have price parity on those two. But I do expect an EHEX dip in the moments right after PulseChain launches, because people won't understand the future potential of price parity. And I think that people might dump their EHEX for PHEX, which, if they're smart, they would go directly from EHEX to PHEX, right? They would bridge their EHEX and then swap directly for PHEX. But some people might just be looking at it as a buy the rumor, sell the news situation as well. Yeah, my thesis there hasn't really changed. I have no idea what's going to happen, but that's kind of what I'd like to see, or kind of what I would expect. Housing market crash will bring it to 1 penny IMO. Here's the thing, though. The housing market crash, it doesn't houses don't crash like as fast as crypto does. I mean, houses only crash very, very slowly, if they do at all. We haven't really seen housing go down significantly in a while. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to correlate these things together, because, like, again, crypto's already at 90% dips. A lot of people that wanted to sell their crypto have either already sold it, or, unfortunately, or they lost it all in FTX or something like that. So there's a lot of money sitting around on the sidelines waiting to actually buy crypto up again. I've been getting messages from friends, serious crypto friends, asking me, if they, if I think we're near the crypto bottom. And so you can tell a lot of crypto people are actually looking to redeploy some of their capital after, believe it or not, after the new year, especially for tax purposes and everything. A lot of the VC companies and the hedge funds and all that, they're going to be looking to redeploy a lot of their stable coins or whatever, their dollars, back into the crypto market. So, I mean, I could see a scenario where it's not all tied together, right? This stuff doesn't all go up and down together. It lags, right? Housing lags stocks, stocks lag crypto. I mean, that's my theory. We'll see what happens. Crypto Stylist, how are you? Let's see. PNW Sasquatch, can you share your thoughts on EHEX and PHEX after launch? Yeah, sure. Again, I think a lot of people are going to be looking at EHEX as a buy the rumor, sell the news type of deal, not understanding that it's still HEX, right? And like, I do see a lot of people bridging in their EHEX to bond their liquidity with PHEX. And I see a lot of people probably in the early stages viewing PHEX as the HEX that they really want, right? And so a lot of people might be swapping their EHEX for PHEX, changing up the ratio on the EHEX to PHEX pair. But ultimately, as long as there's enough liquidity in those pairs, they can both move up and down together. So I'm not going to be rushing to dump any of my EHEX. I'm going to be rushing to keep an eye on what's happening in the liquidity world, maybe even putting up some liquidity myself. I talked about that a lot in the past. I'm probably going to be experimenting with putting up a little bit of EHEX, PHEX liquidity and seeing what people do. And my guess is that at first I'm going to end up with less PHEX and more EHEX, right? My impermanent loss is probably going to be weighted towards having less EHEX. I'm sorry, less PHEX and more EHEX, right? Because people want the PHEX. But over time, as the dust settles, I really do think we could see the prices move up and down in tandem with each other. If PHEX goes up 5%, EHEX, if it's heavily tied via liquidity, it could go up like 4.9%, and they could go up and down together. Now, price parity is another thing. Price parity doesn't necessarily have to happen. Just because you have a HEX on a different blockchain doesn't mean you're going to get price parity. We saw this on ETH proof of work, right? ETH proof of work, the price of HEX on ETH proof of work is like 1/100th of the price of HEX on the Ethereum chain. And it all comes down to liquidity, community, and infrastructure. I've said that over and over. Back when the whole ETHW thing was going on, right? People were trying to cut my head off for being skeptical of that. But like, you need the infrastructure. You need a bridge that's trusted and safe. You need a lot of attention and a lot of onboarding. And you need a lot of, people like me and other people out there that explain how to do these things. ETHW is kind of a Wild West, kind of a weird world where you don't see a whole lot of ETHW influencers, right? You don't see a whole lot of people talking about ETHW at all these days, really. Or maybe I'm just not following. But yeah, you need to educate these people about how to bring in liquidity. And you also need a trustless way to bring in liquidity. So that's going to be the difference, right? It's not a guarantee that they're going to reach price parity, but I think it's much more likely that they reach price parity if they have all the things that PulseChain is going to have. PulseChain's going to have a bridge. PulseChain's going to have a lot of people, a giant community bootstrapped from day one. And it's going to have all the good infrastructure. It's going to have a great trading platform. It's going to have a great bridge. It's going to have a lot of other cool stuff to play with. I think it's much more likely that if they're not at parity, that the prices of the two could at least be in a little bit more of the ballpark, right? Maybe EHEX ends up being worth 1/10 of a PHEX, but in that case, if you get it all for free, it's not any reason to dump EHEX, right? Because it's just, okay, cool. We get free money. We get a free 1.1x or a 1.2x or something like that. I think whatever the prices land on are going to be greater than the original price before the fork. Does that make sense? Whatever the two prices end up being, because they're both going to have a US dollar price. I'm optimistic, due to all the things I just talked about, that the prices of those two add up to greater than the price of the single hex before the fork. Crypto can make moves faster than anyone can imagine. Yeah, trust me. I've seen it over and over again. The hype in crypto is real. People act fast and things can go up way higher than you ever thought. They can also go way lower than you ever thought. Pass the Coffee says hello. Crypto Style, it's good to see you. Vladimir says you got to give credit to Pulse Doge. Yeah, I don't hate on Pulse Doge. I could say some good things about Pulse Doge, right? Like, hey, they made a solid decentralized meme coin. I hope that they're funneling in attention from the meme coin communities, right? But it's hard to get new people in at the bottom of a bear anyway. So props to them for spending some time with their Pulse Bitcoin, their narrative. It's software mining, right? It's okay. It's not my favorite narrative, but hey, if people want to go shill that narrative, because that's all cryptos are at the end of the day, narrative memes. Godspeed to those guys. Godspeed. Do your best. Because look, it was given away for free to hex holders anyway. I can't be mad at it. I'm not angry that Pulse Doge is a thing. And I could have played the Pulse Bitcoin game. I just chose not to. But if you guys are playing that game, I hope you all make money, because ideally you wouldn't even have had to buy any. You could just take what you got for free, buy the ASIC and stake it for Pulse Bitcoin, whatever, if you wanted to. I just chose to take the free money, and I actually sold it back for Hex. The last time I sold Pulse Doge, I sold it for Hex. What's going on? David James. What's up? He's on a 12-hour Twitter ban. Uh-oh. Did Uncle Elon put you in a timeout? Were you being naughty? What'd you do, David? What did you do? What did you do now? Always causing a ruckus. LFG. Yeah, I'm sure you'll get out of that ban. I actually just applied for Twitter Blue, so we'll see if they approve me. Get that little blue check mark, Tin Top, what's going on? Archie says they will try to cover up the money laundering, politician payments, SEC corruption now. Yeah, well, this is going to be... We'll see. We'll see how just the U.S. justice system is, because there's a lot of stuff that I think deserves to be exposed. Now, I don't have any proof that a lot of these things happened, like the funding of the Ukraine war and all the Democratic funding and all that stuff. I don't have any solid evidence or proof, but I have enough. There's enough people talking about it to make me very curious. And so I hope that the U.S. legal system brings the truth to light. I can't say I have faith in the government, but the judicial system is hopefully the most fair branch of the government. I actually do think so. I think we make progress in the judicial system more so than like the legislative or executive. Okay, let's see. The pain ends when the Fed stops raising rates, and that's still a few months out. That's exactly what I'm saying. Here's the thing about the Fed raising rates. Here's my hot take. So you guys know with the CPI, right? They're changing the way that they calculate the CPI. And instead of going by 2 years prior history, they're only going to be calculating and averaging over the past year worth of data, which means in 2023, starting in January 2023, they're only going to be looking back 1 year instead of looking back 2 years. What does that mean? Well, that 2 years ago data, which was hyperinflationary because it was 2021, they were printing money like crazy. They're helicopter money to everybody. Remember when you guys were getting those checks for sitting on your ass at home, working from home, quote unquote? I remember that. It's a good time, kind of, minus the whole COVID thing. So the CPI is going to appear, whether you want to call that artificially or not, I'd call it artificially. It's going to appear lower starting with the January CPI numbers. Now, that said, we still have one more CPI reading for 2022, we still have the December reading. So 1 month from now, in the middle of January, we're going to get the December CPI. And December CPI, hopefully it's uneventful. Hopefully it's not a big shock. Hopefully it's not higher or lower than expectations. And then I believe in February, by this time, February 15th or so, we're going to be looking back on the January data for January 2023. And the January data is going to show, I believe, based on the way the CPI is now being calculated, the January data is going to show a lower CPI, which would give the Federal Reserve an excuse to ease up, basically to pivot. So I think there might be some kind of a short term, and I would call it a bull trap, if anything, right? I wouldn't be confident that the bull market is back, but I could definitely see some kind of a short term hype cycle happening, maybe for crypto, maybe for stocks. We're going to see. That's my speculation, okay? That's just my theory. Brewmaster says, thanks for always offering great content that's easy to understand. My hex bags are growing. I look at it as less beer now, more beer later. That's right, man. Brewmaster Jerry, sounds like you like beer. I like beer too. I like beer. Yeah, you can have 1 beer now or 2 beers in the future. It's like the marshmallow test for adults. RGS says, the Coast guys have their fiat on-ramp coming for Europe. Yes, that is huge news. Fuck yeah. Archie, that's great news. The Coast guys have just blown me away with how much progress they're making. The fiat on-ramp and off-ramp for USA, that's huge. But we've had on-ramps already for Europe for a long time. Like, you can go to hexakin.store and you can buy Hex with a credit card right now. I think only if you're in Europe, though. But the way these guys have their system down, it's going to be 10 times better than any existing fiat on and off-ramp today, because it's going to be like no limits, you know what I mean? It's going to be the way that TrueUSD operates, meaning you can fund it directly from your bank account. There's not going to be any credit card limits. There's not going to be, $500 maximum. It's going to allow serious money to get in both in USA and Europe. I think that's huge. I wonder what they feel about Australia. I wonder if they're up for that task. Going after Australia next seems like, I don't know. I don't know much about Australian laws, but I see a lot of FUD from their people talking about a social credit system being tested in Australia. There were some pretty severe COVID things going on in Australia. I don't know. What's it like? My Australian homies watching. How open do you think your government would be to a fiat on-ramp over in Australia? Well, that's Jay says, Crypto Orange said something about Christmas Xmas V3. Here's the thing about that. I want to call this out because I got really excited. Archie sent me I got a DM, not Archie. It was Artie. He's like, yo, check out Crypto Orange. And I'm like, what? No way. And Crypto Orange is talking about, he has like a screenshot from GitHub. And the GitHub thing says, PulseChain devs coming to Santa Town. Weird, right? Okay. The devs are coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. Apparently that was written in the code, but then I'm like, well, that was on GitHub, and the GitLab, the PulseChain code's on GitLab. So I don't know where he was reading from, but the code for PulseChain is not on GitHub. So not sure what Crypto Orange was looking at, but take it with a grain of salt because I have no idea. Crypto King said, could testnet v3 be running on a private network by devs? Oh, I'm sure it is. Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. Like, yeah, they've probably been running a testnet among themselves for quite a while. I mean, we heard about the Ethereum bug, right? How would the devs have found that Ethereum bug if they weren't running a testnet themselves? I feel like it's one of those things that they can release it at any time. And it would be nice. I mean, again, just speculating, it'd be a nice Christmas present. It'd be a nice little gift. Again, I don't want to make promises, though. I don't want to have any expectations, right? But boy, would it be nice. This is my first bear market. Is it different than last time? The only difference is that last time we were in a macro bull market. So in the macro, things were relatively okay. And this time, well, shit's hitting the fan left and right in every asset class. And there's a lot more fear in terms of the global economy. So for that reason, people are speculating it could be longer. We've already been through a year of it on the crypto side. Now, we could have up to a year more, right? So get ready for what if all of 2023 was bad? That's the worst case scenario, but I really think by 2024, things are going to be more optimistic. And I really am more optimistic in terms of cryptocurrency, the asset class, responding faster to everything else. It is different. It is different from the last, but the sentiment, the FUD, the lack of conviction, the people leaving, the name calling, the anger, the aggression, the sadness, the depression, that's all the same. Right? Human emotion cycles are the same. I'll tell you that. The conditions, the reasons why, the narratives are different, but the emotions are the same. And guys, you got to realize the US, the global economy is going to keep working. Cryptocurrency, real crypto is going to keep working. HEX is going to keep working flawlessly. PulseChain is going to come out one day. It's all going exactly as it should be. And we have to just focus on what's in our control, right? What's in our control is we can onboard, we can use our voice, we can get out there, we can write articles, we can go buy a HEX bus like SJ's doing. There's so many things you can do. You don't even have to do crypto. You know what I mean? If I'm just your crypto channel that you go to every once in a while, but you really just like you just love cooking, then go do your cooking channel or something. This is a great time to build and focus on what actually makes you happy, right? Because sometimes we place so much importance on things that some people will place so much importance on the current price of HEX and the current USD value of their portfolio being down. And it sucks, right? Because the more importance and significance that you give that thing, the more you alienate yourself from that thing. It's almost like the Tony Robbins thing that Richard talks about. There's a trade-off between connection and significance, but there's also a trade-off between the significance you give something in your life and the resistance to that thing. It's like if you were going to start a YouTube channel, for example, and you keep making up in your head that, oh, it's got to be perfect. I've got to have the right camera. I've got to have the right lighting. Everything's got to be perfect before I could start my YouTube channel. And you don't just go with the flow and say, you know what? It's not going to be perfect. I'm just going to put it out there. But if you're making it up to be this big deal in your head and you're giving it so much importance, it's kind of ironic, right? The more importance we give to these things, the more resistance it creates for us to start doing those things. And that goes for everything too. The more importance you put in one human being, right? Like if you put a lot of importance in Richard Hart, well, you're only going to be disappointed when Richard doesn't act exactly like you want him to act, right? So there comes a point where you just have to set your intentions and do things because you really like doing them. Set your intentions and just kind of let the flow kind of carry you. Just kind of go with the flow, because if you're not able to start something, if it feels like so much work, if it feels like it's got to be perfect, and you're going really anxious and crazy about it, you're never going to even start anything. You're never going to make an impact at all. So nothing should feel like work. Okay, that's a rant. There's more to that rant. I'll try to refine that later. I've got some great T-share stakes for a massive discount from auctions. Couldn't be happier. Hey, okay, glad to see you did it right, firefighting. And there's probably a lot of people that got great deals because, yeah, if you were going to stake 15 years anyway, you could probably get some massive deals, some massive discounts if you play your cards right. So congrats, firefighting. You're one of the guys that did it right. I Heart HEX said, hey, Coffee, to get a copy of HEX on PulseChain, can I have liquid HEX on Coinbase Wallet and Trust Wallet or only MetaMask? Yes, Coinbase Wallet will work. Not Coinbase, the app, obviously. I don't even think they support HEX. Trust Wallet should probably also work. If you own the private keys to your wallet, it's going to be fine. So if you can see your seed words, like I don't use Coinbase Wallet, I don't use Trust Wallet, but if there's a place you can go in your wallet, and if your wallet is non-custodial, meaning if it's self-hosted, if you can visually see your seed words, that's all you need to know. That means you own your money, you're good to go. Because theoretically, you could just reboot that wallet on any open source wallet software. You could just take those seed words and import them over to MetaMask, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be fine. Coinbase Wallet, Trust Wallet, pretty sure you're going to be fine. That max button on the bid of HSI has to go. Yeah, there's a max button. People are probably just putting all the Hedron they got into an HSI. To be honest, I didn't even participate in the auctions because I'm good. If I want a 15-year stake, I'll buy Maxi. If I want to add more to a 15-year stake right now, I'd buy Maxi. I wouldn't really even bother with the HSIs. It is interesting though, and it might be worth me doing a video on because a lot of people have actually asked me about the auctions, how do they work, and I haven't made any content about that because I haven't done any auctions myself. I understand how they work conceptually, but I feel like maybe I should do a test with a small amount and really understand what I'm doing because I want to give people the right information, right? So I want to come up with also a good way for pricing the HSIs because I haven't seen anybody come up with an accurate way to do future pricing of the HSIs, factoring in all the interest that you're going to earn in the future and all the and all the hedron yield that you're going to earn in the future. It's probably kind of a little bit of a complex calculation, but seems doable, seems not impossible. Big Fudge. Big Fudge says, when do you think the documentary could be released? I prefer it months after PLS launch, use it as a second pump. I would too, man. I would too, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's more likely that it releases before PulseChain launches. I don't see PulseChain until maybe Q2 of 2023. And I'm pretty darn sure they're going to launch the documentary in Q1. I think they're going to launch it in January or February. Crypto King says, I have to disagree with Crypto Orange. If they're going to launch V3, I'd assume they'd want it to be in front of their computers to monitor and analyze what's going on to ensure it works properly. Oh, yeah. Are you talking about? I think he was just like joking in the later half of that video. I think it was just a bad joke that didn't land. But when he was talking about the devs like going out to a party for Christmas, I have no idea. But I'd be skeptical of what was he even looking at, because again, PulseChain's on GitLab, not GitHub, and the screenshot he shared was from GitHub. So maybe if someone could enlighten me on that one, otherwise I would not believe that video. No coiners don't deserve to buy it day one. Aw. Look, all it takes to be a coiner, all it takes to get rid of the no coiner name is you just got to buy crypto. The moment you buy crypto, you're all of a sudden you're a coiner. So it's really that easy. Samuel says, I've been wondering for a long time, if you have a stake during the launch of Pulse, will you get a copy of your yield also in the airdrop? Yes. Yes, you will. Yeah, you get a copy of all your staked HEX, all the yield that you're accruing every day. It's all copied. So yes, sir. Why doesn't the OA burn their tokens? What is the purpose of holding HEX? Buy pressure is what matters, not large amount of supply locked away. Okay, well, according to your theory, if buy pressure is what matters, then why burning is not buying? You know what I mean? Burning would do nothing. Burning would just lower the market cap, Like burning would literally do nothing. I mean, I personally think that the OA has done enough to signal benevolence, right? So yeah, maybe if the OA burned a little bit of tokens, like let's say the OA just burned 1 million HEX, that's relative to the grand scheme of things. That's not that much because there's billions of HEX out there. But I mean, look, man, there's no reason for the OA. It wouldn't really help anything. You said it yourself. Buy pressure is what matters. Burning tokens is not the same as buy pressure. Good point, Crypto Kings. Mango Junkie says, oi, oi. Nonetheless, I'm praying for V322. I like that. V322, please. Please, Richard Claus. Please, Mr. Richard Claus. Right. I've been in the community for a year. Some newbie advice. I'm interested in HEX and learning from the basics about HEX and Pulse and what the issues are that are happening. So where does a beginner start? There's not a whole lot of real issues that you need to worry about. I mean, everyone is just basically waiting, complaining about waiting, irritated by the SEC. But these are things that you don't have to pay any attention to them, and your life will probably be better. You know what I mean? Learning the basics about what's going on in HEX is you can start with a lot of my educational videos. I'd also just read the white papers of HEX. Go to hex.com and go look up the white papers or the beginner's guide. Check out the HEX Telegram channel, HEX Pro. They can probably send you the beginner's guide to HEX. There's a Google document floating around out there that was considered, the white paper for HEX. So if you want to really learn how Hex works on a fundamental level, yeah, just check out my videos. I don't know, maybe Hodl Dog has some, or just read as much as you possibly can about the tech specs. Look at the tech specs doc on hex.com, and I think that would be a good place to start. I wouldn't worry yourself with things that are outside of your control that don't really matter anyway. I wouldn't worry yourself with delays or investigations that don't matter. Any wallet you have will get the keys copied to PulseChain, so no, your Hex doesn't have to be on MetaMask. Yep, that's correct. Tin Top says the problem is people consider Hedron as free money and they don't care what they spend. Waste of money. They don't care what they spend? Oh, I get what you mean. Yeah, I mean, if people don't see the value in Hedron, well, isn't that kind of a net positive? Like, look, I don't like that. It's unfortunate that people overpay for these HSIs, but look, if somebody doesn't value their Hedron that much, then I'd rather they just burn it. It's better than them dumping it, because you got to remember, when you buy these HSIs, the Hedron doesn't get sold. The Hedron gets burned, which is actually kind of good. It's better than being sold. It takes supply off the table. It doesn't, it doesn't get sold. Burning is not the same as selling. So, yeah, they're wasting their money. They're definitely wasting their money, but it's kind of positive for us. It's kind of like an emergency end stake, right? It's like, oh man, I wish, I really, it sucks for that guy who didn't know what he was doing by EESing, but it's actually good for everyone else. How are early ended stakes distributed? So the penalties that you pay for early ending a stake gets routed back to the stakers proportionally. So when you see these big EESs, you see these big accounts nuking their stakes, you also see a higher payout per T-share per day on those particular days. You can usually see like payouts as high as 6.7, 6.8 hex per T-share per day, whereas normally it's like 6.1. No PLS equals no Christmas. Mr. Grinch coming this year. I hope not. Trying to keep my Christmas spirit. Love your show, Coffee. Thank you, man. What's your thoughts on PZen? Thank you for saying that. Pretty uninterested in PZen. I mean, it's just a basic reflection token. Look, I mean, Conrad, I like him as a human being, and I just don't see a lot happening for that right now. I just, he's got a lot of work to do in terms of marketing for something that's, to me, it's a generic idea that I've seen the idea before. It's a reflection token. I don't like tax tokens. They seem inefficient. And look, man, I don't want to make enemies, okay? But that's all I'll say about that one. Crypto Kings says the 15-year stakes should have received the sharding update on ERC20 given their 6 to 7 year timeline. That's a good point. That's a very good point, Crypto Kings. Yeah. But by the time 15 years comes around, like the whole industry is going to look way different. Ethereum will probably have actually fixed their fee problem, their throughput problem. Hopefully the end stake fees will be more manageable. I agree. That's something we forget, is that PulseChain is almost it's a temporary fix for the gas fee problem, because gas fees are going to come down across the board. But one other thing PulseChain is it's a backup plan, right? Because you don't want to rely on the Ethereum developers to always have our best interest at heart. Theoretically, if the Ethereum developers wanted to, they could censor Hex. You know what I mean? So if we're on our own blockchain, our own copy of Ethereum, and we have our own developers that are, Hex centric developers, there's no underlying risk of the network doing anything to fuck with Hex, basically. So, I mean, it's that more than anything else too. Like Richard, I think he really is thinking very long term. And when you think of everything that could go wrong, like there's only 5 or 10 guys that really contribute to the Ethereum core, the ETH client code. And if they don't like Hex, I mean, they're pretty neutral to everything, they don't really care. But there's always a risk that, it's nice to have your own blockchain, because you can make the parameters user-friendly for Hex as well. You can make sure that the S-load function cost is low enough for that, so that Hex will always be cheap to end stake. David James, real estate dip is coming. Yeah, everyone's saying that. Cold calls for my house, cash offers. Damn. Wow. That's happening already? Okay. Hey, bring it on. Bring on the dip. Hope it dips faster. What DEX platforms are out there to set limit orders to buy HEX? You can go to matcha.xyz. That's matcha.xyz. Or my favorite is now 1inch. You can go to 1inch.io. 1inch allows you to set indefinite limit orders, so you won't time yourself out after, Matcha limits you to be like 30 days, whereas 1inch.io, you can do unlimited time. One thing about limit orders is I've been hearing a lot of people's orders are not always executed because I think it's because they don't have enough money sitting there, to account for the gas fees to beat like MEV bots and stuff like that. So if you're going to be putting in dollar amounts into limit orders, I would say just try to make sure it's a couple $100s. If you're trying to buy like $50 worth of HEX, it's probably not going to get executed. I've heard complaints about limit order platforms on Ethereum just not getting executed, and I'm not sure why, but I would just say try to use a bigger amount and make sure you have enough ETH in your wallet to also pay for gas and all that. Crypto Sloth, what's up, dude? How you doing? The Sloth is in the house. Sloth, maybe you can help the chat out with answering some of these questions, or if you guys want to know more about Hedron and Icosa, look, I haven't kept up to date, but Crypto Sloth right here, he's your guy. He's the guy that he can probably tell you more about the fair value for HSIs. I'm still getting acquainted with all that, but if there's anybody that knows about Hedron, it's Crypto Sloth. Let's see. Hi, do you agree with others that if PulseChain launches Q1 or Q2, then we may experience our own internal mini bull run before the bigger cycle? Yeah, I do. I do agree. I do agree because there's going to be so many eyeballs, so much attention. A lot of people have US dollar coin sitting on the sidelines. Like hundreds of millions of dollars are waiting to be redeployed back into crypto right now. PulseChain is going to be a very, very shiny object for a lot of people, even if they had no idea, even if they haven't been keeping up to date. There is so much hype built up for PulseChain that, yeah, it's going to kick off what will either be the beginning of the bull market or it'll be a crazy bull trap. I could see PulseChain if it launched in 2023 and we weren't done with the bear market overall, in the grand scheme of things. I could see PulseChain pumping us pretty high and then faking everyone out for one last leg down before we actually start the real bull. Or a much nicer narrative would just be, yeah, we just launch and kick off the new bull market. Clean, simple, easy. I don't know though. The world is kind of chaotic sometimes, so it doesn't always go in a straight line. It's unfortunate people will use those as an example, although there will be different launches. I feel like I'm behind, or maybe I missed something there. What's your definition of price parity? 50-cent HEX and 50-cent PHEX? Yeah. So it's a good question, right? Price parity to me means, yeah, they're the same price. But then there's also parity in terms of their movements, right? Like if one goes up 10%, the other goes up 10%. So yeah, it's good to be more specific about what we're talking about. I am more confident about parity in the movements of the percentages of gains and losses in PHEX and EHEX than I am in price parity. But I think price parity is definitely a possibility. Like I said, it just depends on liquidity and education and infrastructure. Did you see that squid that got... No, I didn't. The squid that got hacked today. Damn, that sucks. That is very sad. Yeah, until you have a heart attack. Are we talking about how Corey got banned? Glad to see he's back on Twitter. Yeah, he got a little timeout. Oh, this is how you got banned. Who are you talking to? Oh, that's funny. Richard's post a few minutes ago. Waiting for testnet v3. Me too. Congrats. Keep waiting like I am. Yeah, he's probably watching. All right. Sorry, Richard. I was just saying it would have been kind of cool. Oh, you got them? Sweet. Crap, I got to send out more today. Crypto Artie says, greetings and all you loyal Pulse Hexicans. All right. Coffee for Hexican president. Whoa, I don't want that. I don't want to be the president of anything, guys. President. What a crazy word. Living in hopium right now. Cool. Don't get addicted. I've heard it's a slippery slope. Crypto Artie, PulseX sack days from last year, Hex around 30 cents. Now we're over 90% down. Insanity. Richard saved us. Yeah. Can you imagine we got in at such good prices? We got in at 30-cent Hex. So we like the US dollar value of our sacrifice is 10x what it would be today, literally. If he launched the sacrifice phase today, we would have 10x less purchasing power in terms of how many coins we get. So always a good thing to keep in mind. That's a good way to keep your perspective on point. Benchwarmer, you're awesome, Coffee. Thanks for your content and insight. Thank you, Benchwarmer. You're awesome too. Ovidian says, I 100% agree. RH saved me by locking up in the sack and securing my future. Saved me too, bro. Saved me too. Good man, that Richard. Crypto Artie says, all these celebrity fudster actors coming out of the woodworks, and they'll be back in hibernation when we start running with the bulls. Yeah. All these celebrities, they're gonna. I heard about was it Jimmy Fallon getting sued or something? Maybe it was just a flashy headline. But yeah, I mean, if you get paid to promote something and you don't disclose that you were paid to promote it, it's against the law. Can't do that. So I'm sure a lot of celebrities did that. Not me. I'm not a celebrity though either. But Itty Bitcoin says, I quit my job last Monday and have 3 stakes open. Next year or 2 is all about me time. Wow, that's beautiful. Congrats to you, Itty Bitcoin. That is what it's all about. Wow, at the bottom of a bear market too. You must have some cojones, or you must have been saving up a lot. And props to you, man, because I don't know a lot of people that do that in the bear market. But if you're able to, then by all means, live your best life, sir. DJs make people happy. Hex Christmas special next week, Thursday, 3 p.m. EST, live on Twitch. Okay, you heard it here, guys. DJ Cryptomatic. Like and subscribe if you like electronic music. Hex Christmas special, Thursday, 3 p.m., live on Twitch. Australia quite chill despite what the media say. Okay. Yeah, see, I'm sure it's all FUD, guys. It's all just, I mean, all the media is just, it's disgusting, right? They're trying to siphon your attention. They're trying to poison your mind. Yeah, I'm sure Australia is probably a lot more chill than I have been led to believe. On-ramp via CoinJar to ETH and into Hex is not that hard. As for freedom, I doubt we're much different than most Western democracies. Okay, thanks for the update, Sapper. Yeah, you just read headlines, right? Like people that don't live in America probably think we're all shooting each other all day long over here, but which sometimes we are, but not always, guys. Sometimes we put the guns down. What do you think about PLSD and PLSB? I talked about this earlier. I'm generally not very interested. I'm going to keep going with Hex and that narrative, but not against it. If you guys like meme coins and you get them for free, who am I to stop you, right? The one thing I could say is at least they have good intentions, and at least they appear to be a safe protocol, like an actual DeFi, no admin key protocol. So, if that's your thing, if you think meme coin to the future, go play in that little sandbox. ATX Crypto says, I feel that completely. Took me forever to start my YouTube. Turns out you just got to turn the camera on. That's all you got to do. That activation energy, people make it so high, but it doesn't have to be high at all. Just make something. The first thing you make is going to suck. Hands down. The first thing you make is going to suck balls, but you got to keep doing it. Troy says, hey, CC, my first bear market doesn't seem so bad, really. Never seen a crypto pump. Does it really rip as hard as RH says? My friend, all you have to do is look at the chart. That's all you have to do. I mean, look at the chart from a perspective of, let's pull up a chart right now. Pull up a chart right now. We'll go back in time, a simpler time. It was August 2020. Yes, I remember this time. Yes, the mad gains were flowing. The FUD was non-existent. Just kidding. There was always FUD. This is what it looks like, guys. This is what it looks like. And we don't even have the full chart up here. Let's go to the V1 chart. Let's go to the V1 chart. Okay, here we go. So look, let's turn log off let's go all the way back here. If you were experiencing, look at the screen. If you were experiencing HEX in the earliest of days, it was looking pretty dead for a couple of months until the epic God whale pump that really put us on the map. I mean, what does that pump look like? Price range. Let's go date and price range. So over the course of a month, we went up 1,100%. We did an 11x in a month. You know, imagine that euphoria. And you think that's euphoria? We were even happy over here, right? Everybody thought HEX was dead right here. This is on a linear scale, by the way, so you can actually see how people were experiencing this. Everybody was calling HEX was dead. You know, all these FUD articles because HEX dropped 80% in the first 30 days or so. And then guess what? Found a bottom, pumped hard as fuck, pumped up 7x, did a 7x from the lows over the next month. You know, imagine you make 7x your money in a month. That doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. You know what I mean? And then over the course of a year, look at this. We pump again. We do a 10x over in April. Then everyone calls HEX dead again. It's going up and down, crazy highs, crazy lows. This is crazy volatility, right? And I mean, it's dropping. It's pumping up and down 50%. You know what I mean? Like every time you see one of these pumps, that's minus 50, plus 50, minus 50, plus 50%. 50%, guys. I mean, if you weren't locked up during this, you were having a really hard time. But if you were locked up, you were absolutely loving it. And then guess what? Everyone, oh, HEX is dead. HEX is dead. September 2020. Boom. Another 5.7x. 570% pump right before big payday. Oh, and then HEX dies again. HEX dies again after big payday. And Peter McCormick. Peter McCormick is great at timing the bottom. If you guys want to check out Peter's tweets, we dipped 80, almost 90% after big payday. That took about 2 weeks, and then it was back off to the races. And over the next month and a half, we're back up 10x from those lows. So how do you actually withstand this volatility is you lock your coins up. It's incredible. What was the question again? Oh, yeah. So if you've never seen crypto pump, I mean, all you got to do is scroll back and pretend you were there. Imagine owning 95% of all HEX and price still goes down 96%. Not a very good store of value. Well, they're all down that much. I mean, it's stored value pretty great for me. It's not about how low something goes down. It's about how high it goes up first. So yeah, this stored value amazingly for a lot of people. And store of value is the narrative right now. It's the narrative for Bitcoin, but you know, is Bitcoin a good store of value? Because it just dropped 80%. So is Bitcoin a good store of value? Well, I mean, if you bought it at $100, then it's been a fabulous store of value. It's not about how hard something went down. It's about how hard it went up and then how hard it went down. You know, someone that bought something that only did a 10x and went down 90%, yeah, that's kind of a shitty store of value because then you're right back to 1x. You went up 10x, you dropped 90%. If you went up 10,000x and you dropped 90%, you're still up 1,000x. And I get it. We all didn't get in at the same time, but you have to see what's possible. I know people, and nobody captured the absolute bottom. Nobody sells the absolute top. So still, either way, many people are up many hundreds of X's in HEX. I'm very happy. It's poised to do it all over again. It's going to do it all over again. Just watch, guys. So is this not a witchcraft stream? Sorry, man. I don't have any spells for you. If I did, I would just be making the price go up. If I was a witch, if I had some magical powers, I would just Guardian Leviosa to the price. You know what I mean? Crypto Artie says, looking forward to limited edition box sets. Oh, you got one? I didn't pre-order a box set, but yeah, they seem cool, man. It's going to be a relic one day. You could say, hey, I got the very first box set HEX documentary DVD. I didn't buy one because I don't even have a DVD player. I literally don't even have a DVD player. So conjuring up mad gains. Yes. Bring on the gains. Hey, bro, there's a YouTuber who made a TA video. His name is Vision Pulsed. Cool, man. At me on this video and I'll retweet it or something. Hope it's good. OA is anti-rug function. Yes. What do you think about Zen? Not interested. Only goes down in price. John Bishop said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy will you be when PulseChain launches? And why is your answer 11? Well, man, I mean, I'm going to be elated, but I'm going to try my best to not base my entire existence off of waiting for PulseChain. I'd rather have an effect on people and control what I can in the meantime. But yeah, it's going to be 11. It's going to be at least 11, maybe even 14, maybe 15. I'm going to be partying so hard when PulseChain comes out. Oh my God. You have no idea. Crypto King says, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Hedron from the auctions get redistributed over the next 365 days to staking pools? I was under the impression that the Hedron got burned. Hedron from the I think I'm right on that one. I think auctions were one of the many burn mechanisms that burn Hedron. You might be thinking of, there's a different component. There's a different component of Hedron that actually redistributes Hedron to the staking pools. It's escaping me right now. It's on I made a video about Hedron a while back. It's definitely on that one. Let's see. I am so far behind. Holy crap. Oh no. Let's see. How far behind am I? Pretty far behind. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to skip up a little bit. Win Moon, how much HEX should someone accumulate for the next bull run? I don't answer those questions, dude. I don't tell people how much HEX they should buy, right? That's something that's for you. You got to think for yourself on that one, bud. Critical thinking is the name of the game. How much money can you make? And how high do you think HEX can go? That's only you can answer how much HEX should you buy, right? If you're asking some random guy on YouTube how much of something you should buy, you're not doing it right. I'm sorry, but you're not doing it right. Sorry if this was asked already. When do you think the bottom of the bear is? Oh, yeah. I mean, dude, it was asked already. You can rewind. I'm going to go with March, April, May. Let's go with April or May. But like you, I as well am just simply pulling a number or a date out of my butt. That's the address that got hacked. Yeah, it sucks when people get hacked, man. Toby Wan says, I'm a celebrity. I made it. I made it, guys. See, Mom, I told you I'd be a celebrity one day. Sexy ass chart. Yeah, it really is a great chart. Hey, your sound is good today. Thank you, Karen B. Thank you. Got my Joe Rogan mic. Never lets me down. The Shure SM7B is it makes your voice real smooth and buttery. People ask me how I'm feeling in the bottom, and I tell them, imagine buying a lottery ticket that you know is a winner, but you can't touch it for at least a year. Yeah, it's a good way to put it. Blockeroni, what's going on? Just don't sell? Yeah, just don't sell. Staking limits gray hair. It sure does, man. It sure does. You see this head of hair right here? See all these beautiful brown hair? It's because I'm staked. If I was a day trader right now, you would see a lot more gray up in this head of hair. I guarantee you that. A lot more gray. Hey, what's up, Gold Key? How's Maximus doing? I'm loving my perpetual discounts right now, brother. Loving that. So this is not a witchcraft stream. Yeah, dude. Am I behind? Or are people making the same cash offers, or just real estate wholesalers trying to find an undervalued home to send to the actual real estate investor? Or do you mean like a distressed home? Like the people can't pay their rent anymore or their mortgages? Let's see here. Hey, Crypto Sloth is putting together a stream with data and AMA. Cool. Yeah, I'm lucky there's people like Sloth out there so that I don't have to do all the crazy calculations on that. But I learn a lot from other Hexicans. I learn a lot from Sloth. I learn a lot from tons of people. Oh, man. Crypto Coffee MB says, lost all my crypto budget late last summer in a law case. Forced to start from zero, and now I'm scared that I don't have enough budget and time for filling up as I plan to do by now. Tips, just do what you can do. Do what's within your control. Stack it up little by little. I mean, you have a fresh start right now at the bottom of a bear. And we've been in the bottom for 6 months already. So if there's anything you can do, is just dollar cost average and buy the dips, right? I mean, that's all we can do. In your case, I'd just pray for more bear market too. I'm sorry that happened to you, but you always get another chance. There's always another opportunity. So I'm sorry that happened, but just know that, this is not the last bull market was not your only opportunity for life-changing gains. I really believe that. I believe we're going to do it all over again. It might take a long time. It might take a bit longer than it did last time, but I really think it's possible. Are there any concern? Let's see. Anyone know if other new tokens projects are coming out that are doing claim functions for HEX stakers? Oh, you want to know if there's any airdrops? I haven't heard of any airdrops in a while. I haven't heard of any good ones since Pulse Dogecoin was the last good airdrop we had. What makes someone a squid? I think it's about 100 T-shares. I think 100 T-shares will make you a squid. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Ralph said, what's good? I don't have an hour or two to explain to people how to buy HEX or what exactly it is. I send them to your videos. Thank you. Hey, thank you. Hey, you know what? Any little bit you can do always helps, man. We are the network, right? Any little bit you can do. Don't feel bad. Not everybody has to be a YouTuber, right? I'm not trying to say everybody has to be a YouTuber, right? We've all got our skills. We can all just spread the word. Because really, guys, word of mouth is the most powerful advertising. It's all about word of mouth. All right. Yeah, 100 T-shares, Mango Junkie. Looks like I was right. I keep feeling like I'm reading the same messages over and over again. Did you see the Trump card NFTs? Yeah, I saw. God, man. I saw the commercial he did for the Trump NFTs. Man, this dude, he's just he's like not a real person. he's like a comic, he's like a character. He's like a walking cartoon character. Yeah, I saw his his commercial for the Trump NFTs. Part of me was thinking, is this like a deep fake or something? Like, it could have been a deep fake, but no, I think he's actually making NFTs. Not the brightest bulb in the bunch, but guess what? Half of America likes him. Why do you think that is? It's because he's controversial, right? It's because he took a little card from the Richard Hart playbook. People like Donald Trump. Imagine if there was a Trump that was also super duper duper smart and a lot less old and ugly. That's Richard. Mango Junkie says you should sell everything and buy HEX. Whoa. All right. Well, hey, at least Mango Junkie said it. It wasn't me. Mango Junkie said it, though. Mango Junkie, that's great. That's great non-financial advice. But if the SEC comes to my door, it was you that said it. Just kidding, bud. Crypto Coffee, thanks for the kind words. You rock. Thank you, sir. Mango Junkie recommends taking out loans. No. Okay, I won't even go this far. I won't even play along with the loans. Payday loans, god damn. Predatory. Evil. Pure evil. 1,094 to be a dolphin. Okay, so it's like divide that by 10 for squid. And divide that by 10 again for turtle. So to be a turtle, you'd have to have 10 T-shares. Or 11. About 11. Was there a snapshot for the PRC20 airdrop? No, there was not. Pip Shinobi, don't worry. There's no snapshot. The snapshot is the same day as the fork date. Let me be really clear on that. You don't need to do anything at all other than have your ERC20 coins in your MetaMask wallet. That's it. And then when the fork happens, whatever block height that might be, you're gonna know about it in advance. Richard's probably gonna say something. I would assume he's gonna say, hey, we're launching tomorrow. Everybody, put your coin should already be self-hosted. You should already custody your own coins. So just do that now so you don't have to worry about it later. And again, the snapshot date is the fork date, is the launch date. It's all the same thing. Snapshot, fork, launch. It's the exact same thing. It's just a single block where chain splits. Now you got two copies. You got two copies of all your coins, all your stakes, all your liquid HEX, all your staked HEX, all your chain link, all your Aave, all whatever coins you got. It's all copied. Hello, sir. Do you think PulseX will do 1,000x? I do. I do. I just think with PulseX, it might take a bit longer than some other people are thinking. I I think PulseChain does it before PulseX. I'll say that. Again, we're trying to decide, like, we're trying to pick the best of two really good things. So either way, we're winning. I'm holding all three: HEX, PulseChain, PulseX. I'm gonna have all three. But I think PulseX does 1,000x. I think it takes a bit longer than PulseChain. Okay. Good to know. All my HEX stakes will be doubled. Yeah. That's right, brother. That's right. Is this live now? Yes, sir. Here I am, live in the flesh. This is me talking to you over the interwebs. In your opinion, would the RH ecosystem token, which RH ecosystem token would speculate to be the biggest X in the next 3 years? To me, it's a toss-up, man. It's going to be either HEX or PLS. Hedron and Icosa will follow because their liquidity is tied. And some people really love Hedron just as a coin, which, hey, that's okay. They all help each other, because here's what you really got to, one thing you really got to realize when it comes to art. People that say their coin is built to help the HEX ecosystem or built to help the PulseChain ecosystem, it's like, where's the liquidity tied? If you don't have a lot of your liquidity tied to HEX, then are you really trying to help HEX? Or are you trying to leech? Are you trying to leech money from HEX into your coin? Follow the money, guys. It's easy to see on chain what the high liquidity pools are. Hedron has a lot of liquidity tied to HEX. It's a good thing, which means when one pumps, the other pumps, and vice versa. Pulse Dogecoin, I believe there's a significant amount of liquidity tied to HEX. So that's a good thing. You got to look for that. Don't just believe everybody telling you, oh, hey, my coin is going to be good for the HEX ecosystem, when in reality, there's no relation at all. It's just silly. So don't be fooled. Will Hedron and Icosa be doubled too? Yes. Everybody, everything, every single coin, every Ethereum ERC20 coin, everything. Red Squirrel, what's going on? RH Max, hey, what's up, guys? The PulseChain Network says, Peacock, we caught you live. Sweet. Hey, does anybody know what happened to the pulsetube.com? I was trying to get on the pulsetube.com, and it's saying I need a password to log in. It's a shame, because I really like that website. All right, boys and girls, 300 people watching. This is crazy. Will your coins get copied if they're in Ledger, not in MetaMask? Here's the thing. Your coins aren't in Ledger. Okay, like they're not in. Your coins aren't inside your Ledger at all. Your Ledger is just one more key to help unlock your MetaMask, right? So, you use Ledger with MetaMask. You know what I mean? If you're doing everything from within Ledger Live, that's maybe a bit different, but Ledger is self-custodied. So yes, I mean, if your coins are on a Ledger that's connected to MetaMask, yeah, they're still going to be copied. Yes. Just, they're not really in Ledger. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to explain, but yes, the answer to your question is you'll be okay. If you're using a Ledger where you own your own private keys, there will be a way to get your copies on PulseChain, whether you're using MetaMask or some other wallet. If you have your own private keys, if you own your private keys, you'll be good. You'll be good. RH Max says Weird does ask for a login. Yeah, I don't know who runs that website, but I would like to know, because I really want to make sure I'm not streaming over people. You know what I mean? HEX, Jam, HEX. What strategy would you use to acquire PLS and PulseX within the first 24 hours or days? I'm assuming you mean pre-fork. Knowing you have some liquid HEX and you didn't sacrifice. Yeah, so a lot of people want to do this. A lot of people want to get their HEX copy and swap for PLS and PulseX before the fork. I really, 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 really strongly feel that if it was me, I would simply wait for a dip in the 30 to 60 days after PulseChain launches. I would not try to do anything at all pre-bridge. And if you absolutely have to, then I would use some of the copied HEX, and I would set a really, really safe limit order. Meaning, what does that mean? A safe limit order has to do with the price that you think HEX should be worth versus, maybe the sacrifice prices of prices, right? Prices in quotations, the sacrifice value theoretically of PLS and PLSX. So you could theoretically call the price of PLS $0.0001. And you could maybe let's say HEX is 10 cents around the time PulseChain launches. Well, if HEX is 10 cents and PLS is 0.0001, then what's 0.1 divided by 0.0001? You get 1,000. So, your safe limit order bet would be when I can get 1,000 PLS for every one HEX, then I'd like to spend HEX and get PulseChain. Now you're making a lot of assumptions, right? You're making a lot of assumptions about what is the fair price of HEX at that time. There's a safer assumption of, what would the fair price of PLS and PulseX be at the time, because you can use the fact that people got 10,000 sacrifice points for $1 as a starting place for your hypothesis there. But yeah, it depends on the price of HEX at the time. Hey, thank you, Toby Wan, for the super chat. Yes, do you think the perpetuals are net positive for HEX? I like Maxi, but not sure about the rest. Yeah, they're good. I like them a lot. It's good to have options, right? Look, think about new stakers coming in, or like, for example, I own the perpetuals because I like the fact that I get more bigger pays better bonus, and I get more a better t-share rate, because you have to realize that if you buy one of the perpetuals, you're buying into a pooled stake that is like taking a time machine back in time, and you're able to buy into a pooled stake that has way more t-shares than you could have ever possibly gotten on your own, or even that you could ever get today as the same size whale. So on top of that, when you see these at a discount compared to spot HEX, like when you see Trio on a discount compared to spot HEX, if you already have diamond hands and if you were already going to make a 3-year stake anyway, I know you're sacrificing your Hedron. You're not able to mint your Hedron. A lot of people don't care about that, because a lot of people think that a 5% discount on HEX that's pooled together in a stake that was made many months ago with a better t-share rate and a better bigger pays better bonus, a lot of people think that is actually good compared to whatever mintable Hedron you'd be able to get by starting that stake now. So it's good to have options. Obviously Maxi is more attractive than the other ones because it's got the 5x multiplier, and it still gives you some of the Hedron back, or all the Hedron back rather. But you got to understand what the benefits are. So, gas fee savings, instant liquidity, bigger pays better bonus, cheaper t-share rate, currently at a discount to spot price, when really it should be at a premium, because it should have already completed some of the stake length theoretically. So yeah, I think right now they're very attractive to me personally, because if I had HEX that I was going to stake anyway, but then again, it also matters of how strong are your hands. That also matters a lot. If your hands aren't strong and you have the ability to now sell your perpetuals back, well, so much for saving yourself from yourself, right? So much for that. But I know that I've been conditioned to have very strong hands at this point. And you can even lock up your perpetuals in the Diamond Hands Club too, which I've done for a portion of my perpetuals. All right. Kahir says, what are HEX T-shares and how is that different? Thanks. Okay, so when you buy HEX, you're buying HEX, okay? And the people that are staking their HEX are getting all of the inflation from HEX. So if you hold your HEX liquid, you're getting slightly deflated by the staking class, because your purchasing power, the HEX supply increases little by little every day. The inflation rate is effectively somewhere around 1.6, 1.7%. The absolute value is 3.69% annually. But anyway, you buy liquid HEX, and if you want to stake your HEX, you're actually buying shares with that HEX. When you stake your HEX, you are burning your HEX and minting new shares into existence. Okay, these shares didn't exist before. When you stake your HEX, you're burning the HEX and you're minting new shares into existence. The number of shares you hold, and a T-share just stands for a trillion shares because the units have to be high. The number of shares that you hold in the system determines the amount of yield that you'll get paid back at the end of your stake term. And it gets paid out in HEX, obviously. So if you staked some amount of HEX, you're going to get more HEX back at the end of your stake. Now, shares are just what determines how much yield you get for your stake. So it's a battle to get more shares. People in HEX are racing to get as many shares as they can because they want to solidify their ability to generate yield. And the more shares you get, the more yield you get, quite simply. And then when your stake is over, you burn your shares and then you mint all your new HEX back into existence. So on the way in, you're burning HEX, minting creating shares. On the way out, you are burning shares and minting back HEX. Not only all your principal, but all the yield that the shares generated you as well. That's T-shares in a really quick nutshell. Can I come to SoCal and pay for your groceries? Yeah, man. Where do you live, bro? Crypto King said, thoughts early on PLSX pumping. Thoughts on early PulseX pumping due to buy and burn function, as the first week will be a bum rush of volume from people looking to fill their positions, like hello liquidity for early bigger price moves. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible, but we'd have to see. It's going to depend on how much is bought and burned, how much liquidity is on the PulseX pair anyway. It could happen. I could be proven wrong. I just think that the amount of people that got into PulseX that missed out on PulseChain, all that pent up FOMO is going to matter more than the buy and burn in those early days. Could be wrong. If I'm wrong, that's still a good thing, right? Because that means PulseX pumps like crazy in the first week. Are you going to do a live stream with Waters Above? Maybe. I've already done 2. I might do another one. Maybe when there's someone else to talk about. What will happen with stable coins and the PLS and PulseX address at launch? I don't know. I have no idea. They could be provided as liquidity. They could be used to bootstrap early liquidity, but I don't know. Can't have any expectations from that wallet, unfortunately. I would love to have some expectations, but I'm not allowed. Nordhaven Dreamer says, if HEX and PHEX start well out of parity, use USDC to hoover up some of the lower of the two right after the bridge. Yeah, that's kind of my thought, right? It's like, well, if you see, you're coming at it from a different angle. Most people are asking, how do I get Pulse and PulseX? You're asking, how do I buy the right HEX? Yeah, look, if there's a dip in any of these things, using that USDC to scoop up some of that any HEX that's at a discount at some level of a drop, yeah, you could do that too. Any word on Richard Hart? No. No. IG Diff says, am I missing out not holding Icosa and Hedron? I've been buying HEX. No, I mean, look, man, that's up to you, but I like HEX. That's where I start off. If you have HEX, you can mint Hedron, and then you can stake the Hedron and earn Icosa. So you don't really need to buy Hedron. You can if you want to. But yeah, if you've been buying HEX, then the way to get Hedron to be mintable is you just make a stake, and then every day of the stake that you complete, your mintable Hedron ticks up little by little. As native HEX stakes, you're stuck, which is a good thing. Yeah, that's one thing that the perpetuals don't have as much of. Yeah, this is a good way to explain stakes. Big Kahuna says it pretty well. Those T-shares are basically your HEX minting machines. So your T-shares are like your money printers. Yeah. The more shares you have, the more daily HEX you get when you're staked. That was a very elegant and simple way to put it. Much more simple than my... Hey, we got a super chat. Thanks, Coffee. Thank you, Toby1. BRS says, Wait has a new contract. Is this a problem? Video. It's not a problem. They're updating things to make it better. Everything's going to get worked out. And I need to update myself on that too. Hexivore says thoughts on, so to go back to the Wait token new contracts, I think they're fixing some issues that might have happened. I have no idea. But It's going to be fine. Just go read what's going on in the Telegram. I need to stay up to date on that too, but they're a good team. They're going to be okay. Pulse to PulseX swap ratio on testnet is 6-1. Dang. 6 Pulse. Wait. 6 PulseX for every 1 Pulse, or the other way around. Because that makes more sense. Is that it's 6-1. 6 PulseX for every 1 Pulse. Thoughts on HPX? All I know is that this is yet another NFT platform. Now you've got like 4 of them, right? You got Pixel Park, you got NFT on Pulse, you've got Mintra, HPX. I have no idea, guys. I'm not an NFT bro. I took a small bet on Mintra personally, but we'll see. Yeah, NFT platforms are necessary. Which one is going to be the winner or the best performer? I have no idea. I like Mintra because I've seen the working demo, but that's about it. And I know the team a little bit better than the other people. Okay. Hex is Hex is just a pump and dump. Well, isn't everything in a way? Everything pumps, everything dumps. Hex is definitely not a short-term pump and dump. I'll tell you that. If you ain't T-sharing, people ain't caring. Run up in your hood and take everything you wearing. I like that. I like that a lot. Hey, Richard Hart Max says he'd pay for my groceries. Thank you, sir. It's a bear market, so I'm gonna need you to come over and put your money where your mouth is on that one. Only people with Pulse and PulseX can put up liquidity between the two. With the anticipation of a rush into Pulse and PulseX drops, why would anyone want to lose their PLS position? Yeah, I mean, maybe. But then again, people would, when you put up liquidity, you're betting on just, when you're putting up double-sided liquidity on PulseX is only going to allow you to have double-sided liquidity, right? It's not V3 Uniswap, it's V2. But if you're putting up Pulse and PulseX liquidity pair, that means you're bullish on both and you don't care which one you end up with more of. So, I mean, I can see a lot of liquidity flowing there because people are so bullish on both of them. I mean, I have my minor opinions, my opinions are slightly different in the sense that I think Pulse is going to pump harder earlier than PulseX, but I am totally speculating, guys. I don't have all the answers. Neither does anybody else. So don't pretend that I just know everything. I'm just guessing here, okay? And I'm telling you why I'm guessing, but at the end of the day, it's a guess. So anyone telling you that they know something for sure, nobody knows how this is actually going to shake out. But yeah, why would anyone want to lose their PLS position? I don't know. Yeah, putting up the Pulse and PulseX liquidity pair it'd be a little risky, but if you're bullish on both over a long enough time scale, it doesn't actually seem like the risk of impermanent loss is too bad on that pair. Maybe. Beware, guys. If you're going to do LP, just beware of impermanent loss. I can risk staking $500 until 2025 in HEX. Is that a good choice? Dude, that sounds like you want me to tell you financial advice, sir. Look, if you're okay with it, and if you choose to do it and it's money you don't need and you're bullish, then you can decide to click the stake button. You don't need me to tell you. Hey, CC, word on the net says Richard may have gotten a subpoena. I have not seen anything to confirm that. That just sounds like a rumor. There's no way you can cease and desist anything with HEX. You can't turn it off. So don't just listen to everybody you hear on the internet. If they don't have proof, don't listen to them. People like to make shit up on the internet a lot. Pulse Trump coin? I have no idea what that is. HEX will pump so hard in the next bull, 24, 25. Just have patience. I agree with you, Dave. I agree with you. All right, guys. Thank you for coming. I think we're out of questions, but I really appreciate all you being here today. I hope that was informative for some people. If you're new here, guys, I do have a course below, hexpassiveincome.com. If you're brand new to crypto, it's going to tell you everything you need to know from zero to hero. We've got a sale going on for Christmas. And guys, if you've been here a while, and you're a veteran, or maybe you've got some in-depth questions and you just want to talk one-on-one, maybe you want to also get a 60% off course discount coupon, or tell me what kind of videos I should create next, or if you just want to collaborate on some of your own personal ideas, I've got a Patreon. You get a whole bunch of benefits if you join the Patreon. Click the link below. All kinds of benefits, guys. Not just a paid group or anything, but I'll answer one-on-one questions, and obviously we can just collab on whatever you want. You can help guide the future of this channel, guide the direction of where we go next. What new content should I make? And all that money from the Patreon will end up going back into supporting, obviously, making the channel better, making quality videos, doing IRL giveaway videos, all that stuff. It's good. It's a win-win-win. We all win together. That's what this whole thing's all about. So thanks, guys. If you're new, get the course. If you're old, Patreon. Talk to you later. Like and subscribe. Share the video. Make this thing go viral. You know the deal. Goodbye, you beautiful people of Hexaco. Adios.